All right, now on to Tony. Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, I'm fine. All right, I'll leave it at that. I'm always a little bit nervous with the microphone because usually it's just situated there. First of all, I want to thank Chris and the rest of the I-SPIE team in putting this together. Like Chris says, I've been a friend of I-SPIE, but really been a friend of Chris for a long period of time when he was at San Luis Obispo. And I've always appreciated the friendships that we've had. And he's also been a real supportive fan of Research Solutions / Reprints Desk. I always like to start off, at least when I speak to interlibrary loan librarians, because I feel like out of everybody else I've ever talked to, I can feel like I kind of associate with you guys, or I feel like I'm a part of you, because this is my 37th consecutive year of being in document delivery. I started in 1986 in June. My best friend Scott was a runner at Stanford Libraries. He was working for a company called Dynamic Information. He called me and he said, "Hey, do you want to run around UC Berkeley and photocopy journal articles for $1.11 for each fill?" And I thought, well, that could be a summer job. And then 37 years later, this is what I'm still doing. I do remember the first day. The request came from this little teleprompter that you had to hook up to the phone, and it printed it out, these little slips of paper with a request on it. Half of them had UC Berkeley library call numbers on them. Then I had to slice them up. I had to go buy copy cards or bring change. And I filled 11 requests the very first day. So I filled 11 article requests in that day. So I barely made any little money. And I think I had to go to 14 branch libraries. Anyway, I thought I was going to die. I seriously thought I was going to die. But eventually I got into it and I started enjoying it. And then in 1992, I left Dynamic Information that was located in Redwood City, and I joined InfoTree, which some of you probably remember at that point. I was with them from 1992 until 2000. Then in 2001-ish, I left, started my own document delivery company called Pinpoint Documents. I was very lucky. I got a great staff. I got financial support from a couple investors, and I grew it into a multi-million-dollar business. And then in 2006, I sold it to, is this going to work? There we go. Oops, back up. To Reprints Desk / Research Solutions. And that's where I am today. Couple housekeeping. If you see the words, and if you hear me say Research Solutions, and all of a sudden I go into Reprints Desk and Reprints Desk back into Research Solutions, it's the same company. We're not like Clarivate, where we can, like, 3 months, everybody changes their name and they all get Clarivate email addresses. We're still doing this long process of trying to rebrand ourselves. And for someone who's been at Reprints Desk since 2007, and I think I was like employee number 8, I still call it Reprints Desk. So forgive me if I go back and forth. And normally I don't say anything about this, but I gave a presentation to a library director a few months ago, and she literally stopped me and was very angry with me. And she goes, "Who are you?" And so that kind of changed gears. So at this point, just to let you know, all my career at this point, up until I joined Reprints Desk Research Solutions, I was always corporate focused. I really enjoyed the corporate market because it was like I could go to a pharmaceutical company and sell, $100,000 licenses for an annual license to these businesses, and have technology that we could give them, repositories, link resolvers, everything that we could do in the corporate world. And then about 2012, 2013, we started getting links from certain publishers that said, "Hey, we've given CCC a discount on article requests. Would you like to have the same type of discounts?" And I needed a new challenge. So I jumped on board with that because I thought it'd be really interesting to jump on board and be a part of the academic market. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. I thought selling to academics and introducing our product would be very easy to do. No. I've never had so many ILL people hang up the phone on me in my entire life. And it wasn't because I didn't sell it right. I think maybe I was a little more cocky. I was just like, "Hey, use our service. I can give you 50% off the paywall price. Just start using us." And the answer, what I got was, "You're not a part of our workflow. You need to be a part of the workflow to make this work." So I was scrambling. I was trying to figure out, repackage this. How do I introduce this to the academic market? And lo and behold, there's always that sort of knight in shining armor who comes out of nowhere and helps you out. And that person was Mike Richin and Tom Delaney. from Rapid. They reached out to us about 2013, 2014, because now that I'm 60, everything's getting hazy in years. They said to me, you got a good plan here. You have a good service. I don't think you fully understand how you're supposed to run this. So it was that point they came to us, and Mike and Rapid really helped shape what we were going to do. So they told us, you got to work with Iliad, you got to work with, IDS project, you got to get situated with OCLC. So we started working in that type of world, and that's really when our academic service really began to flourish. And ever since then, we've grown leaps and bounds. As you can see, we have 500 academic clients. We expect to maybe have 750 by the end of the year, and I'll tell you why when I get to that slide. But we're rapidly growing in that sense. So here is the core group of our service. And I know that some of you in the room, familiar faces, have used our academic service. So this will be just a refresh. But for some of you who don't know exactly what we do, please pay attention, and I'll go through this. So the core of our service in the academic market is the fact that we actually have better than 43,000 journal titles, and we actually added 3,000 this past year to our list of content that we can pull off publishers' servers and deliver to you anywhere from 5 to 50% off the paywall price. And for any of you out there who uses our service will know that. For those of you who do not use our service and are interested, just reach out to me, give me your card. I can set you up a free account, and you can check the pricing yourself and move from there. Not only do publishers open up their e-content to us, they open up their books to us. So we're almost close to 1 million books that we have immediate access to that we can deliver to you. We don't do book loans. That is not our expertise. I think you guys do that much better than we do. And that's not a world we want to get into. But if you need a chapter from a book, we can definitely do that. Average turnaround time is less than a minute. Usually it's faster than that. A lot depends on the DOI, clean citation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the average cost is around $29. That includes service fee and the copyright fee. Okay. All right. This is just a small list of some of the publishers that we work with. I usually like to say at this point that these are the publishers that we can grab not only immediate content from, but also the ones that we get the most academic requests from. So these are our heavy hitters. Negotiated rate, seamless integration, and no embargoes. Publishers open up the world to us. Real quick, like I said, for our interlibrary loan mediated service that we're talking about right now, these are the services that we use. It's first started with Rapid, the IDS project, Iliad, of course, and of course now with Rapido. Big shout out to Megan for all the help that she's done on that. Thank you very much for helping us with all the Rapido stuff. Really appreciate all that. We enjoy the relationship with Rapido. We've done one press release. I think we're going to be doing another one coming up shortly, and we hope to extend the relationship moving forward. But if you use any of these other services, we definitely work with you. The cool thing about this, and especially with Rapido, when it comes to setting up Rapido accounts, it is the fastest one out there that we can do. If you sign up on the form, we send you credentials. Chris can help you with that. And it just takes a few minutes and you're off and running. And we're also making some improvements to Rapido down later this year where you'll be able to get print materials from us down the line. Because right now it's sort of limited just for articles we get price on. But eventually we'll have that by the end of the year. So two other quick things just to let you know. In the ILL world, mediated services, I call it. Some of our people call it the academic collection. The other thing that we have is 14 to 16% of the article requests that we get are from print materials that we fill from around the world. Our best relationship is with the British Library. The BL sends us, let me say it this way. We're the BL's #1 client. We send them the most article requests on an average basis. We work well with NLM, Linda Hall, of course. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on is doing services that we call beyond the collection. So not only can we get you, for instance, Jiaxi for Kimi from 1934, maybe from a German library, not only can we fill that in 24 hours, but if you need something really difficult, that might take time, but also might cost you some money. We take great pride in going beyond the end, basically going to the ends of the earth to try to fill it. We give ourselves like a 2-week window. We give you a price estimate that honestly will be a little bit high, but I'm actually very surprised by the fact that we do have a lot of universities who ask for that service. And because sometimes they'll come to us and say, you're our last hope. And usually we use third-party vendors who will reach out to authors, who will go around the globe to try to get content. So we actually take great pride in this service, and we feel like it's very efficient. We have a bunch of people who've done this for a lot of years. Some of the people who were leftovers from InfoTree back in the 90s, this is all they do, is the ends of the earth searching for you. The other thing that we do, and Chris has talked about this, and I think, can't think of her name right now. We'll be talking about Contu and so forth when it comes to copyright payments. We have a service called CPP, which sounds like a Russian spy novel or something like that. It's called copyright paid purchases. So quarterly, end of the month, yearly, you can send us a file, ISSN, title, year, volume. You send us that file. We'll do a cost analysis line by line. We'll send it back to you. You can approve it or not. And usually we can include the academic discount into that service. So it's no obligation to you. So if it's something where, I think earlier this week I had somebody who sent us 8 or 9. We have Ivy League schools who send us like 500 and simply say, here, just pay it. Because I know that you're saving me time, you're saving me resources, and it's basically something that's tedious for us to do. And knowing that you'll do everything line by line and send it back to me where I can itemize and figure out maybe stuff I don't want you to charge, and we'll pull out and do it ourselves, we can provide that for you. And like I said, it's just something that you can do. And like I said, if you're interested in that, just reach out to me, send me your list of items. We'll give you a quote, we'll send it back, and then you can say yay or nay. So with that being said, I'm going to shift gears here. And, forgot to mention this. Actually quite proud of this. I don't usually do a lot of self-promotion. I don't like doing it myself, but I take great pride in this because I work really, really hard on this. 2 days ago, it came out in the press release that we just signed an agreement with the Royal Danish Library. So we are handling their document delivery for the entire country. I think it's close to 300 libraries. And so they're implementing not only our document delivery service that some of you use today, but they're also going to be implementing our Article Galaxy Scholar platform, which I'll talk about right now. So now we're going to shift gears, and I've done this presentation a couple times to some of the CSUs, and now I feel like I finally sort of have the rhythm, and I finally have an idea how to present this. And so I'm going to ask you to sort of be patient with me, and I'm going to paint you a picture of what this service is all about. Article Galaxy Scholar was developed in discussions about 2017, 2018. We had university library directors, ILL folks, collection development folks. They would come to us and say, I got core groups of faculty members who need immediate access. They don't want to go through interlibrary loan. Is there anything you can do for us? So what we ended up doing was we started giving them individual accounts to start ordering. Now, at that point, the bills would go all the way back to the library and they would pay for it. Now, granted, the faculty would probably order stuff that the university already had, but because they had grant money and because they were powerful faculty members, they just wanted to say, here, just go, just give you here, just knock yourself out, order as much as you want. So it got us thinking. And so, like I mentioned, 2017, 2018, we started getting focus groups. We had ILL folks, we had library collection folks, access services, mid-sized library directors. And we came up with a platform called Article Galaxy Scholar. We released this a week before the pandemic in March of 2020 in beta test. Our first 5 beta testers, and I always have to write them down because I forget, UCSD, University of Kansas, Whittier College, University of New Hampshire, and UConn were the first 5 schools to jump on board on this. So for that first year of 2020, it really didn't do much. We had to refocus some of the packaging. We had to fix some of the things on the back end. And it really wasn't until November of 2022 that we finally went full tilt because we finally figured out what we've had. And ever since January of this past year, from January to July, we've added 47 clients to the AGS model. And right here is going to be the best explanation about how Article Galaxy Scholar works. So please bear with me here. So let's suppose you're the head of ILL or collection development. You have to go to a key faculty member and say, for various reasons. One, we have to maybe unbundle a package that we're no longer have immediate access to. We might have to maybe let go of some titles that were very popular. Maybe there's faculty who come to you and say, we need brand new content. And you're not sure if you want to subscribe to it. Any of these scenarios work with Article Galaxy Scholar. So I'm a faculty member at Cal State Long Beach. And you come to me and say, hey, we had to downsize these 25 titles, but we're going to give you, Tony Landolt, because you're a faculty, immediate access to this content. And you're going to have 25 downloads from any of these titles. Once you hit 25, they immediately go back to interlibrary loan. So here's the key. So I'm a faculty, I log in, I do a search, I find the article I want, I click on that link, and it can say whatever you want because there's so much customization with this product. I click on it, and immediately goes to us. We fill it within 15 seconds, and it's delivered to the end user. All the while, he goes from 25 to 24. Now, granted, you can do this by year range. So for instance, if you had decided to start in 2023, Tony Landolt, the faculty member, that's what I'll be getting, is articles after 2023. Anything before then, I still have the legacy package to the university. So that's scenario number one. Number two, if I'm an undergrad at Cal State Long Beach, I don't get any access to any of this content because I'm not worthy of getting it. Or you decide, if you're like me, when I was an undergrad, I don't think I read a peer review article to save my life. I click on that link and it immediately flows into interlibrary loan. ILL at that point does its triage and decides what to do with it. That's all on you. All the while, we're incorporating open access filters. So we use on paywall integration. So if the article happens to be free, it's served up to the end user. Doesn't matter if it's a grad student or undergrad, he gets that article. And also, after we've delivered that article to the end user, we do a double check to see if that article is free. So we're checking away at the beginning and also on the back end. So 3 outcomes to the service. Number 1, preferred user that you've decided to get access to, immediately get that content. Number 2, if he's not a preferred user, goes into interlibrary loan. And number 3, we check OA on both sides of the spectrum. So this has really been something that's been really cool for us because as I'll talk about here, it's all about the use cases that we're seeing with the platform. Selfishly, when we rolled this out, I was thinking we're going to have a lot of universities unbundle this package and they're going to point all their link resolvers to us and they're going to order thousands upon thousands of dollars monthly. And the truth of the matter is, I would say that's 1 in 3. I think there's a lot of universities where they point everything that they wanted from a big publisher or a small publisher. They just open it all up and say, it doesn't matter if they're an undergrad, doesn't matter if they're a graduate student, doesn't matter if they're faculty, they're going to get immediate access. Others, they've limited the access to how much they get. So what you're seeing is, like for instance, University of Oklahoma with Jenny Watson did a presentation. If anybody wants to see it, let me know. I can send it to you because it's online. What Jenny Watson did on her presentation from University of Oklahoma, she oversees interlibrary loan. We filled 89 article requests in the last year. We've delivered 700 open access content, and there's been 650 ILL referrals. So the way that she presents to their users, she's sort of persuading their users to sort of go to interlibrary loan first before they decide to purchase the article. Because of the messaging that you do, you can dictate the workflow. Okay, the following me? Okay, good. I always feel like I lose people here. So here's the 5 value adds that this brings. And actually, this slide and the previous one you saw before were developed by MIT, came up with the concept. UConn and University of Oklahoma, and also Rice University were the ones who said, Tony, you do a good job on your presentations, but you talk about instantaneous delivery. What we realize is we're seeing far more value in the platform. And these are the 5 key things that you should really stress, especially to the access service folks, interlibrary loan, and possibly collection development. And library deans not so much, but they like the word save money. So what you basically say is, for the number 1 with the saves, what the platform is able to do is saves valuable staff time. So you already will take the pressure off interlibrary loan because you already dictated all this stuff that needs to possibly get filled through us. You're pushing it all to us because we're going to be able to fill it 24 hours a day, round the clock, and all the while you control how much everybody gets. So if Chris Lee's a rock star of faculty, you can give him an unlimited amount of content to him. If you don't like me, you give me 5. And that means the first 5, I will get those access to that content. After that, when it hits 6, it flows into interlibrary loan. So you control who gets access to what content, how much content, you control the cost. You can open up a big publisher package, or you can open up one title. University of Memphis with Sophia Dahlman, She has well over 10,000 titles that go to us, but she limits to like 3 because she wants to see what activity they get on content they don't subscribe to. And we have one Ivy League school, which is a med school. They have 1 title because it costs them $18,000 a year to subscribe to that title. And they didn't justify that. And what they did was, I'm just going to put it in here and we're just going to start following it. And so they only download like 4 articles a month. So we're saving them money and time on that. Provides better usage and data insights, a valuable tool that when I was visiting MIT last week, and also went to UConn as well, MIT made this really clear to me that what they're able to do every year or every 6 months is they do statistical analysis of article content, what's been downloaded, who's been downloading it, which departments are downloading it, how much they're downloading, and then this helps make better buying decisions. So the ILL staff is in the meeting with them because the ILL staff is dictating like, yeah, we can, let's keep it there because the cost evaluation of this means that we should probably keep it in reprint sets because, we're saving money that way. But they've also discussed the fact that once they start spending a lot, they pull it out and they decide to get a subscription for it. So you start seeing a lot of work between collection development, ILL, access services, and even library directors who are involved in the conversation because it helps them make better buying decisions moving forward, all the while knowing that we're able to get the content from us, and you can decide that as you move forward. Limits and controls. What that basically means, like I mentioned before, on saves time, you'll be able to control, like I said, who gets access to what. We've seen universities, like I mentioned, open it up to entire campuses. We've seen it open up just to certain departments. There's one university that downsized a chemistry package. They had 10 faculty members who were not happy about it. And what they did was they just said, let the 10 faculty have access to that content. And they were able to get 25 downloads from all that moving forward. So you can limit it to that as well. Improves user experience, sort of goes back to the first slide, which means basically that you no longer have any dead ends. There's always a spot for those places to go, either flows into interlibrary loan or the article request goes to us. So you're not leaving your students or faculty hanging, and expand and fulfill search results. Really a big win for a lot of universities because, like I mentioned, it sort of goes back to the data insights where we provide fantastic data analysis. So you're able to figure out, like I said, departments, turnaround time, journal usage, all that's at your fingertips moving forward. All that stuff is, which, to be honest with you, I knew it was valuable, but I didn't know how valuable it was. MIT made a good point to me that they said they downsized a big STM publisher, and her feeling was that they did not know that the social welfare department was using this content so much. So now they have all that statistics where they can go to that department and go, is this something we need to resubscribe to? How important this is to you? So this is what the platform brings. Real quick, I got a few minutes here. I don't want to eat up all the time. These are just some slides of what the platform really looks like. I was thinking about doing a demo, but I'm always nervous that it might be slow or might go haywire. You can always reach out to me. I have definitely presentations. I have MIT did the first one. Second one was done by University of Oklahoma. Third one was Utah State. And University of Arizona will be coming up later, hopefully by the end of the month. And all of them talk about use cases and value adds. But this is just sort of an example of how the system could be set up. As you can see here, it says on the top, no online access. And then on the bottom right, you can see is where it says, request interlibrary loan or request Article Galaxy Scholar, which, by the way, our name never needs to appear anywhere. The only time it appears is one line in the delivery email, because you customize everything to make sure that the student or the faculty feel like they're still in their world. So you still feel like they're a part of your world, not our world. So it gives you that inclusion of that. And what's really cool about this is I've seen us be #1 where it says get article. I've seen us #5. I've seen ResearchGate above us. So to get access to the content, you decide where we go. Here's just another example of how the system works. Like I said, our name on the bottom won't be there. Everything will be customizable in this form except the article request. It'll say either get open access, and we can also skip these steps. Primo gives you a lot of options in this, along with SSO, where you can eliminate how many clicks it takes to get an article from us. Some universities like to have a university or a patron jump through a hurdle to get content. So sometimes you'll click on the button and then it'll be, click here, click here, and then click here, where some universities are like, no, I want to skip all that. They're a preferred member. We've set it up through this through Primo. We have our SSO installed. Just click on the button, get the article. Otherwise, you can have buttons there as barriers to sort of tell people, do you really need this? And one of the buttons that I didn't show is where it says, instead of go to interlibrary loan, it'll say get article request. We've seen that customizable so much where right before a patron clicks on the button to get the article, it's 3 paragraphs long and basically says, do you really need this? Can you wait a few hours? Can you go to interlibrary loan first? And then there's a hyperlink for ILL that's underneath it where that article, once they click on it, all the information flows to interlibrary loan. So you dictate what kind of messaging you have. So I've seen, like I said, article where it says, get article. And then there's just like 3 paragraphs, hyperlinks, explanations of why this is costing them $30 to get this article request. Can you wait 10 hours to get it? Please go through interlibrary loan. I've seen everything here. Just real quick analysis here. This is our front page. This is the first thing a user would, an admin would see. You would see open access, link outs to dates, how many journals they've configured to be purchased through our system, article purchase a date, and how many interlibrary loan referrals. And this, like I said, this is just an example. You can incorporate the rule of 5 if you want into the system. I know Con 2 is always a very interesting discussion for a lot of folks. But if you're a Con 2 fan, you can have the first 5 article requests go to ILL, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever can go to us. And once you have it at 10, when it hits number 11, it immediately flows back into interlibrary loan. So we've seen all scenarios. We've seen it set up where first 5 for everything interlibrary loan, and then 5 to 20 go to us, and then 21 immediately reverts back to interlibrary loan. Like I said, this is all on you. You customize everything here. You know, it's the analogy of you're like the Wizard of Oz. You're behind the curtains pulling levers. You're pulling who decides who gets what, how much they get. You make cost analysis, you do decisions. It really gives you a lot more tools for you to use in making decisions moving forward. One of the interesting discussions I had was with, I can't remember the name of the university. I think it was, help me here, Georgetown College. And I think the library director jumped on the call and the person really wasn't quite sure what the collection development person bought. Watched this whole presentation, stopped me halfway through it and said, so let me get this straight. This is the next best thing to a subscription that we control. And I go, you could say that. And she goes, good, I'm done. And then she just left. That's all she wanted to do because now she had something to go to her faculty and tell them, hey, we got something for you. It's not instantaneous, but it's going to give you 10 seconds of turnaround time and you're going to get your article. Quickly, like I mentioned, there's the ILL thing. You can do purchase threshold, year start date, all that's controllable to you. And then finally, just to wrap everything up, and I really hope I haven't lost anybody, just to give you 2 scenarios of the services that we have. The one on the left is our existing document delivery that many of you use today. Thank you very much for that. 43,000 titles, book chapters, mediated, of course, articles and book scan, print, pay-as-you-go scenario. Article Galaxy, we took 13,000 titles out because we don't have instantaneous. It'd be, if we were to add the other 13,000, it would take 2 or 3 extra minutes. So we decided not to do that. So we just core on the core 30, unmediated, immediate open access, everything's checked, workflow integration, delivery to end user, annual license and implementation. Would you like to know how much that costs? I'm not saying. So let me give you this. This one's free. This costs you nothing to set up. This one, there's 2 pricing models. This is really one of the reasons why it's grown a lot. We had to refocus the whole pricing model because we basically I think honestly, we overcharged it at the very beginning because we didn't know what we had. Our focus groups are all across the map. Some focus groups said, we should just give it away for free because you're charging us for the document request. And then the others are like, well, there's a lot of technology in here. There's a lot of upkeep on your end. You should probably charge 10 grand. So the 2 pricing models we have are annual license of $3 grand, where we do all the work, we set you up, we get you going, we're with you every step of the way. And that's an annual license, no implementation fee. The other one is a one-time $500 implementation fee, and that's it. We'll set you up, we'll get you configured, we'll get you running, we'll load your holdings, we'll do all the work, I should say, to get you started. But then after that, we sort of give you the keys to the car and let you manage it yourself. So and some universities really prefer to do it that way because they have staff that they can dedicate to help run this, who can add users as they go, or they can drop users using their Primo. They can do that all on their own, and they're perfectly handling managing that themselves. I mean, we're not going to forget you because we have an internal AGS discussion list, which is probably something I should have rethought, because now I'm getting a lot of questions from users on there asking for product enhancements, trying to make it better, which is great because there's a lot of enthusiasm for it. And now we're starting to come up like, wish lists, what do we need to do next? People are even saying, 15 seconds is not fast enough. Can you do it faster than that? And short answer is yes. We just got to get there. Two other things I forgot to mention before I wrap it up. We do supplement checks as well with the platform. So after an article has been delivered, and if an end user wants the supplement, we can deliver it, or we can do our own internal supplement check as well. So that's really one of the nice features about the platform. And we also are including more publishers are going to be added to this list, and we hope to have that done probably by the end of the year. So that's really the core things between the two services. So once again, the academic media service, that if you just want a simple Rapido account, let me know, we can get you started. Or if you want to learn more about the Article Galaxy Scholar platform, or you want a list of who's using it today, and scenarios on that, I can definitely provide that. But yeah, that's it. So I guess my question to you is, I hope I didn't lose anything. Because I have a tendency to speak really fast because I keep reshaping this presentation to find the sweet spot that people will get it. And when I first did this a couple of years ago, I was all across the map and I didn't present it very well. But now I feel like we got the value add and the idea of the journey for a user. So anyway, thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, sure.
Thank you. This was very clear. So, with the experiences that you found in messaging, and when I'm sort of hearing about this, I feel like there would be like one faculty member in a department who got access to this, and then somebody goes, well, the whole department should have it, or my whole college should have it. So how are people managing that?
That is something where we are starting to help specialize certain messaging for faculty at universities. I mean, I've been on site with some schools, and they either open it up really quietly. There's some universities where they've made it really clear to me, where they've said to me, if my faculty stumble across this, great, but I'm not going to send any messaging out. And then there's been other universities where it's just like, we're doing tutorials, we're doing videos, and I have a list of about 14 universities that I keep, that if anybody wants to see, I can send you that, where they have like a full page. I mean, Purdue University has videos, presentations. Rice University has a big square, and they explain. University of Oregon, who recently signed up, and Oregon State have full page tutorials about what this is all about, why we're using Article Galaxy Scholar, why the reasoning behind it, and if you have any questions or concerns, please let us know. I've seen that, so hopefully that answers your question.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So I was super impressed with the cloud app that integrates Galaxy Scholar into Rapido.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work exclusively with the paid subscription, but not with the pay-as-you-go?
I think the idea behind Article Galaxy Scholar is, when we were developing it, it puts us downstream of the link resolver and upstream of interlibrary loan. So we fall in that sweet spot there, that you already predetermined that we want reference desk to fill these. We don't want to have to deal with all these requests. We don't want to spend time on the stuff that we normally probably go to them anyway, and otherwise we can control it. But if the article request does go to interlibrary loan, it can populate the Rapido form.
Sure.
Yeah. So does that help?
The question was more about, does that only work with the paid subscription, or does it work with the pay-as-you-go?
What? Yeah, I think so. Let me, oops.
It works with pay-as-you-go.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Anything else?
Hi, I'm from Seattle.
Yeah.
Consortium is based in LA. Do you have consortial discounts?
Yes, we actually have a relationship with Jason.
You have a relationship.
I with Jason. We have a scalp agreement with Jason, and I've talked to Jason. Jason was actually one of the very first people at Scalp we showed this to.
That may be true, but right now we're not offering consortial discount. So if you have a.
Okay, we can talk.
do that.
Yeah, we do that. I mean, we definitely offer consortium discounts. The one of the power hitting consortiums that have taken advantage of us has been Aceral and Gorilla with John, God, please, I'm gonna hate
That's
myself.
okay, I know.
Yeah, I know you're not talking about, but yeah, definitely willing to talk and give consortium discounts.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I think that, I'm trying to remember, I think it was my product, but it was very confusing at first, and I think we dropped it because of the confusion. But
Yeah.
sounds like you've got it nailed down now.
Well, I take a lot of responsibility for that because I honestly, when we rolled this out, and I keep scratching my forehead, maybe I'm trying to think too much, but when we rolled this out, it was like we thought we had something really cool here because it was just like, okay, the community's going to need this. They're going to want to like take advantage of this, and then you realize it takes the users to pull you aside and go, get off the .del, get into the statistics, because that's where the value of this platform really is. I mean, you're going to get your document delivery request filled quickly, but the stats that you're giving us on usage, turnaround time, titles that are being used, that's far more valuable to us. So you need to sort of switch that. And so that's why the first presentation we did was with MIT, and Felicity Walsh and Patrick Page were the first two who spoke. That's what they talked about, was the value that it brings and what they bring to the users. And then consequently, everyone else is following with a different scenario. Jason Folkman from Utah State talked about the user experience and also working with Lean Library and that integration. And I think Arizona is going to do another presentation at the end of this month where there's another focus. So like I said, when we rolled it out, we messaged it the wrong way, because it was purely a document delivery tool. Now it's far more than that.
Okay, so we'll be in touch.
Okay. Any other questions?
Linda@scalp.org.
I do want to thank Chris once again for having me here. I mean, I always appreciated Chris because Chris is one of those guys who I first met. Like I mentioned, like a Mike Richin, the people who sort of pull you aside and say, hey, you got something kind of cool here. Chris is one of those guys when you're at San Luis Obispo. You said, hey, you got something cool here. Let me do a paper. So he was the first one to do a paper about it. So I always appreciate that. So when Chris says, can you do this? I'll go, yes. So Chris, if you're in charge of this every year, you need me to do something, just say, I'll do it. So I appreciate you always being helpful to me and helping with the Rapido stuff. So thanks. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I actually met Tony at my first not I-SPIE conference, did a poster presentation because we saved a lot of money doing Reprints Desk in Iliad as our way of paying copyright, and it saved us quite a bit of money. So, and I'm glad can still save money with them in the cloud app. So, I think we are ready for another prize punch and break. Yep. All right. Stopping the recording and need to remember to do that.